Okay, welcome to the Fahiڀ language. This is a Conlang showcase. Let's just do it. So I started working on Fahiභ in October. I didn't really have an end goal for the language. I just sort of went along, with whatever choices I made. I plan on making a writing system, but I haven't yet. I have made a writing system. It's just not very good. And I kind of hate the way it sounds. So that's good. Part 1, the lore. So Fahiභ is one of 4 languages in the Fahiģ language family. Yes, I did name it after those ball things from the 2000s. I think they're called Fahiģ orbs, I think. Yeah, it serves as Fahiභ itself serves the same role as say Danish or Wanjanese does for Nordic languages or Sinitic languages, where it's sort of the weird or eccentric one that sounds really odd compared to the other ones. So most speakers live in Central Fahiģ. Central Fahiģ itself is like the Holy Roman Empire in medieval times, in that it claims to be like the sequel or the next step of the original old Fahiģ Empire, but it isn't actually doesn't really have any legitimate claim. So the phonology, the consonants are b, d, c, b, g, m, n, n, r, b, dr, f, th, s, sh, h, h, v, j, w, y. Yeah, I should probably explain myself. So those affricate trills they originally developed from lengthened nasal consonants, where and n, like m and n lengthened, became bra and dra. Well, originally they became mba and nda, which then became the affricate trills, bra and dra. Yeah, I think those are the main things I need to explain. Most of this stuff I think is pretty reasonable, but the sheer amount of phonemes is weird. This is a lot of phonemes for a Fahiģ language. Also, the sheer amount of trills is also weird even in universe, because it's so much trills, because they do frequently show up. The trill consonants show up a lot. So this has led to native speakers referring to the language as babo, which means bubbling mouth. The vowels are I, U, I, O, A. Yeah, basically what happened here is, in the old Fahiභ language, there was a bunch of diphthongs, mainly I and O, which then became I and U. And the original I and U became I and So, yeah, it's not too bad, but it is ugly to look at, like everything else in this language. So, syllable structure. CVC, consonant clusters are not allowed, and vowel sequences aren't allowed either. Or they are allowed, but they are very uncommon. Although two vowel consonant sequences are allowed. They're not common, but they are there. Stress falls on the next to last syllable of multi-syllable words, so it's kind of like Latin minus the length rule thing. But if a certain word is being emphasized, like if you're answering a question with just a single word, like if someone asks you, "Where is the cat?" and you just say, "The living room," then in that case you stress the last syllable of the word. If it's just the word by itself, you stress the last syllable. So, the grammar. Word order is SVO, with nouns. A noun can be placed at the beginning of a sentence, before the subject, to show a temporal locative sort of meaning. Adjectives and adverbs precede their heads, and participles follow their heads. This is reflective of the proto-language, which had SOV word order. Nouns, there's a lot of noun stuff. Each noun has two principal parts, the base root and the modified root. The base root can be used for an animate meaning, and the modified root can be used for an inanimate meaning. So, we'll explain what animacy actually entails later, but for now you just gotta know that. So, the plural form is just the modified root plus bo. The plural form also doesn't show animacy or lack thereof. It's just the plural form. The plural form can also be used with more of a partitive meaning, so like pieces of something rather than just things in general. Also, animacy is based on whether the object is currently active or not. What that means can vary wildly depending on what you're talking about, but it basically just means like active or not. So like a fish that's inactive could be a lazy or dead fish, and then a fish that is active could be a fish being chased around, that sort of thing. And that can be seen in these examples, u and uho on the left, meaning warm or fresh food, or literally active food, or cold food, or inactive food. And then buho is just pieces of food. And then on the right, we have mo for boiling liquid, or active stew thing. And then vo for inactive stew, so like soup. And maybe cold soup, but yeah. And then the plural povo, which would be drops of soup. Verbs. Verbs have two principal parts also. They have the active root and the passive root, which are just used for active and passive voices. And on top of the root, there's the prefix tha, which is used to make verbs inferential. Verbs are non-past by default, and the suffix ri is used to make verbs past tense. Pretty simple compared to nouns. Except, actually, verbs also act as adjectives and adverbs. Basically, an adjective is just an active root by itself, and adverbs are just passive roots by themselves. Participles are just verbs. Pretty simple. So, thu means fast or to hurry. It's the active root. And passive root thusho means quickly or to be hurried by something. So pronouns. Pronouns are dra, bra, and o for first, second, and third person. The third person can also be used as a demonstrative. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, I think there's a lot of there's some Indic languages that do that. I might be getting that wrong though. The interrogative pronoun is tso. Pronouns are uninflected also, so you don't have to worry about any of the other noun stuff with pronouns. The context marker, the participle tsi, is used for connecting two clauses. It originally developed from a verb in Proto-Fushigi, meaning to contain. The original verb has since drifted away into the verb tahe or tahi, meaning the original verb has since drifted away into the verb tahi, meaning to wear, literally to be covered by. Comparatives are simple. You just add po after a regular adjective, and then to what you're comparing it to, you put that after the po. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Connective conjunction. The word vos is used to connect two noun phrases. It has sort of a meaning like and. It just connects two noun phrases, although it can't be used for anything except connecting two noun phrases. So you can't say and then this happened, or also. You just can't. You just say and this rather than and then this happened, that sort of thing. It originally developed from a verb meaning to mimic. If you're wondering what that bumping noise is, someone's using a drill in the living room, so that's great. Anyway, so base 5, the numerals are base 5. Multiples are formed with suffixes. Numbers can be added by listing them from smallest to largest, so like you don't say 4 and 1 for 5, you say 1 and 4. And smaller base digits are always preferred over larger base digits. So like if a noun can be formed multiple ways, like saying 1 times 16 or 4 times 4, those would both be 16. But since 1 is a smaller base digit than 4, you use 1 times 16 instead of 4 times 4. And now for a sample text. Now this is a ancient Fahiģ poem that has been modernized into, or translated into the modern language. Dra vos bra tse fuho avosal. Bra papa posse bra soso. Dra vihaso papa o. Mojo tse dra vingoso bra. Anyway, thanks for watching.